Hey guys, it's Misha and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Disney's upcoming movies and the race swaps, because as we all know, Disney has become more political, more woke over the years, and this is really sad, especially for someone like me who used to love Disney movies. All they seem to care about now is appealing to the woke audience. So today I'm going to be talking about the new productions and the unnecessary race swaps, specifically with Tinkerbell, also Snow White and the Little Mermaid. But before we get into this, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my videos. So I want to begin with the one that surprised me the most, which is Snow White, because apparently they're going to make a live-action remake of this, which will be played by Latina actress Rachel Zegler. She has her pronouns in her bio. She's obsessed with identity politics and calling anything that moves homophobic, transphobic. So yeah, she's a big fan of this woke virtue signaling, so of course they cast her. She's perfect. And this surprised me because it's Snow White, whose skin was described as white as snow. I don't know what they're going to call Snow White. Is it still going to be Snow White? Because I understand with The Little Mermaid, you know, a lot of these woke people said, yeah, but it's a mermaid, like her skin is not an important part of her character. Well, what would you say with Snow White? Because she is specifically, you know, described as having very white skin. But Disney being Disney, I really shouldn't have been surprised that Snow White is not white, because all they seem to care about now is checking off boxes just to make sure everything is super diverse, instead of focusing on the story or even creating new stories with new characters so they can have this, you know, new Latina princess or black princess. There are so many folk stories from so many different cultures that they can choose from, but instead they just race swap the, you know, already established characters from timeless classics, because that's the easy thing to do. Yes, to virtue signal, but also to get people upset, because then people will talk about it and they get the advertisement, and I wouldn't want to take part in it and, you know, give them that satisfaction if the movies were good, which they're not. It's not just about the race swap. There's so many issues with the modern Disney films. They come out with these lifeless, you know, dull-looking movies. Like Pinocchio, for example, a disaster. An actual disaster. Probably talk about this in another video, just like reviewing the other Disney movies that have come out that I've watched. It was literal torture to get through those movies, but I did it. But with the race swaps, there is a double standard here. You know, if someone were to say, let's get a white woman to play Pocahontas, let's get a white woman to play Moana, they would be screaming about how that's racist. But when it's flipped, let's change Snow White and Tinkerbell and Ariel because white people don't have culture, so it's totally fine. We're so sorry that they were white to begin with. I don't understand why they can't make new movies with a Latina princess, a black princess. But the thing is that would actually require effort and creativity, which Disney doesn't seem to have anymore. Peter Pan and Wendy is another movie that's coming out.
Are you?
Los Boys.
Every last one of us. But you're not all boys. So?
And this trailer, I mean the Lost Boys thing, why? That's so unnecessary. And the lighting is terrible again. It looks dull, it looks lifeless. This is for kids, right? It's supposed to be colorful. Tinkerbell also had a race swap, which is so lazy in my opinion. Again, they cannot make new characters. This, I don't know what this is. It just looks depressing. Anytime they have a female character now, she just has to go on a rant about female empowerment, which I'm sure they'll do in this movie, or they have to be completely independent. They cannot ask other characters for help because that's viewed as weak, which is so silly. That's what we're teaching young girls. I think it's ridiculous, especially when they take these female characters and have them battle like a whole army of men. That is so unrealistic. I know it's a fantasy movie, but still, it just feels forced. It feels like, okay, we have to make her a girl boss, or else it's sexist, or else we're not virtue signaling enough. Like, come on. And they're so obsessed with girl power, girl boss this, girl boss that, but they can never define what a female is. And I'm surprised that they have the Lost Boys, or now it's the Lost Boys and Girls, instead of saying, you know, these are the lost non-binary kids. They could have had some non-binary characters, like the non-binary bison, one of the first non-binary cartoon characters for children. Although actually, I just remembered there's Chiburashka, which is a Russian cartoon character, and he was like an outcast. Nobody wanted to play with him because no one knew what animal he was. Also, people were confused by his gender, so you're too late, Disney. They take away all the color, all the magical parts of the movie, and just leave us with this depressing, woke garbage. It hasn't even come out yet. But from the movies I've seen recently, of the newer Disney ones, my expectations are not high. And of course we have to talk about The Little Mermaid, which is very dark as well. If you take a look at the original Little Mermaid, I mean, so colorful. And we have Ariel, who has very like bright hair. I don't understand why they couldn't give this Ariel bright red hair. Bailey's very pretty. I think she has a very like ethereal look to her. She could easily play a mermaid or a siren or something. So make a new movie. Make a new character, because she's not Ariel. Ariel is based off of a Danish folk story. I'm sorry if that offends woke people, but Ariel is white. And people said, it doesn't matter what her race is because Ariel's race wasn't really important. Ariel's a mermaid. Okay, if it doesn't matter, then keep Ariel white and make another mermaid and make Bailey play that mermaid, or just making a whole new movie. I think that Disney knew this would get backlash, and they used this to shut down anyone who had something to say about another aspect of the movie. Like Sebastian now looks like this. Literally just a crab. The vibe this gives me is the same as the live action remake of The Lion King, which was a tragedy. Soulless. Absolutely soulless. If they were going for more of a realistic look, they should have just went all the way. I remember watching this show called Fact or Faked when I was a kid, and they had this episode on mermaids, and they talked about how a real mermaid, if mermaids existed, would look completely different, would not look beautiful because it would have to survive under, water for a long time.
So they would need a thicker skin insulation, probably something very blubbery. Salt water would create this skin that kind of shrivels up because of osmosis. Hair would only get in the way.
They should just make the character look like that. If they're going for a realistic vibe, just make it a horror movie, because that kind of mermaid would fit in perfectly with the whole, lighting situation. Another thing about the race swap, I remember my friend and I would go swimming in the ocean when we were kids, and she was Asian, and my friend would always talk about Ariel being her favorite Disney princess. She never once said to me, I'm so upset because I can't really relate to Ariel because she's white and I'm Asian. We weren't even thinking about race, and people become attached to their favorite childhood characters, and that's what's happening with Ariel. Give us original Black Disney princesses instead of this performative virtue signaling. It's unoriginal and it's lazy, because that's all they care about is Disney's role in this culture war and diverse casting instead of good storytelling and creating new characters. Instead, they just want to brag to modern viewers about how woke they are. And that's all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and if you like the new Disney movies, let me know, and remember to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss my next video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.